Okay, so today I'm gonna try to implement our, right now if we kill if we have 2 eggs, right? Shit, I'm probably not gonna be able to show it off in this scenario. Come on, man. Okay, here we go. So if I pick up this egg and then get the next one, well, I already fucked it up. Basically, we want, when we grab an egg, we want the points to stay. What the heck happened there? What happened there? Why did that show? Oh my god. Okay. So the problem is we've only got one score right now to render. So if we collect more than one egg in the same 3-second time period, then this is perfect. Then it'll overwrite. So like, watch, we grab this 250, but the first 250 should have stayed on longer. So we're gonna try to fix that. Now, yesterday we were talking about an idea to fix that with let's see, it's called only score, right? Yeah. So right now we have a field called only score that gets an instantiation of print score that we're starting off screen with a 0 on the point amount. But we're in wave 1. We're in wave 1. Shoot. Where do we do? Maybe it's in our... Here. No. Oi. Okay. So... See, this is close. It's just that right now we've got it where... Ooh. Right here, we're hard coding it where we're saying 250 is the score if our egg counter is 0, and we increment our egg counter upon a collision or upon a... Actually increment that. Yeah, so yeah, if we collide... Oh, see, this is backwards. Oh, no, it isn't. We've got it. See, I don't like this. I don't like that we've got a self-only score getting instantiated here. Don't like that it's hard-coded 250. I don't like that we're repeating ourselves for all of this, depending on the speed. We need to decouple all this stuff so that we can actually change it depending on the wave, because it does change. On the first wave, the first egg is 250. On the second wave, I think the egg starts at 500. And then I don't know if eggs get to be 1,000 points or if Bounder eggs are different than Shadow Lord eggs or what, but we need to decouple this stuff. Shoot. I feel so much resistance to doing this. So yeah, we need to not code this in. We need to not assign it to our only score field. We need to do all this stuff better. So my reasoning, or my idea was, instead of having this self-only score that we're overriding, that's why it's erasing every time we get more than one, is because there's only one score. That's why I named it only score, because I know I needed to change that. But we need to give ourselves a table of scores, and that table of scores, does that table of scores need to have an egg counter variable? No. I just noticed that there's like 1 pixel of blue down here in the original. See that? I might add that later, but it's totally not necessary. It's just something I just noticed. Okay, so we need to check. We need to have a table of scores. We need to cycle through the table of scores, rendering every score that the timer isn't up for. But then we need to, depending on which egg it is, render a different score, and not only render the different score, but change the amount that the score is being upgraded by. Because right now, we have it in our wave 1. So, right here. See, we need to fix all this too. Yeah. So I feel like we can factor out these two by doing another block saying, hey, if the vulture's egg dot collected is true, and this is in our cycling through our vultures, if that's true, then that's when you check the egg counter, which determines the score. But instead of instantiating here, we need to instantiate with the correct score. Yeah, I think we can do something like that. Gosh, it's hard to... It's always daunting when you have to fix something, you have to delete something you have working and then rework it. More complicated in order to fix it. That's totally okay though. It's all part of the game. Let's do it, man. Let's try it. This is what Git is made for, you know? If we screw everything up, we just revert to this current snapshot and we're good. We could start again, you know? So I'm gonna say we need to see, so this is the hard thing. Let's give ourselves, so the amount of scores we need to store depends on the amount of vultures, right? I don't know if different waves have different amount of vultures. I feel like it's just, yeah, actually no, I think wave 2 has 4 vultures and wave 1 only has 3. Let me make sure there's only 3. There's 3 vultures for this wave 1. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now, I guess let's just check real quick if. See, and then we need to add the yellow score too if we get the aerial bonus. which we don't even have that detection just yet. So let's see. Wave 2, 4 vultures? Yep. I'm curious, because right now, if we stand on a platform spawn point rather, we stand on a platform spawn point, does that prevent a vulture from being able to spawn there? I think it does. But I don't know how to even test that, or how to implement that. Oh, see, it doesn't. Okay, that makes me feel better. It just comes out and fucks you up. But it's kind of weird that it killed us instead of detecting that we were at the same Y. Because if you think about it, you know, I wasn't jumping. And if that thing spawned to, oh, well, it was probably the instant it jumped, because it jumps right away. Okay, I guess that makes sense. But it doesn't, actually, because the very first frame, its Y would have been equal to ours, unless it jumped on the very first frame, and yeah, we might have to implement that, because if we don't have it jump on the very first frame, Ys are going to be equal, and if Ys are equal, it doesn't kill either of us, it just sets our DX to be different and moves our vulture's Y position, which isn't quite correct. We might have to fix that. We might have to ensure that the very first frame the vulture spawned is a jump, meaning its Y is going to be higher. Therefore, we don't have that equality collision detection. Because we just proved that an ostrich can spawn inside you and then it kills you. It doesn't remove their position, which is what mine would do at the moment. So I'm going to make a little note of that. I'm just going to say ensure vultures jump on frame 1. So we get non-equal Y collision on spawn. I guess I'll know what that means when I see it again in a couple of weeks or whenever we get around to it. So for wave 1, we need a table that stores 3 print score objects. The first of which is going to be 250, second is 500, third is 750, and then we need to give the X and Y the last position of our egg upon collision, which should be easy enough because we've already got that implemented. Then we need to cycle through all those in the table to render out, so we need to initialize these as print square objects, but not here. So for now, I'm just going to comment this out, and I'm going to say, instead we have a table called score values, or score table. I don't know. Yeah, score table. Scores table. I don't fucking know. We're just going to assign it a table, an empty table. And then we're going to say on wave 1, you know, if it's wave 1, right here. Shoot. Wow, we don't want to do this. Fuck. We don't want to do this in the update function. But we need to do it. Fuck, I don't know. Because the problem here is if we if we cycle through all the 3 and say, hey, give us these null values for all of these only score objects inside of our score tables field, then every frame, since it's wave 1, it'll overwrite with those null values where we put the last X and last Y up in the graveyard. But that's not what we want. We just want it getting initialized once, like we need the play state. So it's almost like instead of this being play state, it should be a wave 1, and then we use the game state changer to change the waves. But I don't like the idea of that either, because then we have to recode all of the certain things like our ostrich reset or vulture reset, all the lava bubbles, all that shit. I don't like that. So how do we initialize? I'm pretty sure the init only gets called once. So if we... Oh my god. It's like we need another boolean. It just gets messy, man. I don't know another way to do it, but we just need to give us a boolean called like wave 1 score populate. It gets initialized to false. And then we need to say in our update function, hey, if it's wave 1, then if it's if our self dot wave score populate is false, so we say if not wave score populate, which it starts off as false, then we need to cycle through or add score objects for wave 1, and then we need to set our self dot wave 1 score populate to be equal to true, because it's populated now. That way on the very next frame we're not overriding our table of scores, our scores table. So we'll use the same table every wave, but depending on what wave we're at, we're going to populate it with the correct amount and correct values for the score. We just need to give it dummy X and Y values like we did here. We put it in the graveyard. Because the interpreter doesn't like when you have objects without the proper arguments. Like, you can't do it. So you need to give it valid arguments. But we don't want it to be rendering or anything. I guess it isn't necessary we put it in the graveyard because it wouldn't be rendering anyway. But I don't know. I guess it really doesn't quite matter. But let's do this where we say, trying to remember how we do this. It's for key value in pairs, whatever, right? I wonder if I can just put a 3 here. Because the thing is, I can't really put our what we're trying to say. We're trying to say oh my god. We're trying to say that our self dot score table scores table gets table dot insert the first. Actually, this would insert the last one first, right? Because a table dot insert inserts it at index 1, pushing every other index backwards. So if we're populating our scores table with the correct values, we need to go for wave 1, 750 insert, then 500 insert, then 250 insert. And the insert, table.insert takes a table to be inserted into. So we'll say our self.scores table is what we're trying to insert into, and a value, which in this case is a print score. That takes 3 arguments. We'll give it those dummy arguments for the graveyard, and then we'll give it 750. No, it would be... It would we need another value, because this is a loop, so we don't want to hard code in the value. We want to say that it's giving us the self.highest egg score, which in this case would be a 750, and then we need to update our self highest egg score to be equal to itself minus 250, because it goes 750, 500, 250. So, but the thing is here, we don't need to do a table, since we're not using a value here. We don't need to do this. We can just do a simple for loop, because we're not using the key or the value. We're just doing a table.insert for the amount of scores that are in the wave, which is determined by this, whatever wave we're at, we can do whatever. So I don't know if I've actually done a simple for loop in Lua, but it would be like for int I gets 0, as long as I is less than 4, I++ do score scores table insertion. Before I look up how to do a for loop, I'm kind of just like trying to remember if I can just remember how to do it. It would need I'm just gonna look it up. I'm not doing myself any favors trying to guess it right now, because I don't think I've ever used it. I have looked it up before, but so we need initialization, range, increment. Easy. And then it's just for do end. Okay. So we can say for initialization, we have to say I gets 1. We can't just give it a number. Yeah, we gotta. But the thing is, here. They're not declaring I. Which I feel like the interpreter would yell at you for. Okay, simple enough. I don't see, so this I would be global, wouldn't it be? Maybe we just make a local I, just so we don't actually screw ourselves. I here is global. Yeah. I guess we'll make a local I. I don't know. For local I, range is 4 because we want 3 values. A positive 1 on the increment. Do this. So this code says do a loop of 3. And then we're going to be inserting, starting at our highest egg score, which we need to declare. Starting at our highest egg score, yeah. So I feel like we need to set our highest egg score to be equal to 750 here. We can initialize it to 0. But without the initialization here, it doesn't know what that variable is. Actually, I don't exactly know if that's true. Because if we leave this local out, I think that for loop will still work. Not exactly sure, but if it's on wave 1 and we're not populated yet, we're setting our egg score, our highest egg score to be 750. That means the last value in our table will be a print score instantiation. And that parameter, the third parameter of our print score, is called score amount, which is the value that we're actually printing as a string. And then we're decrementing it. So now this is decoupled in the sense that we're giving ourselves a table with the correct I'm thinking of, we need to populate our print score objects. Oh, you know what? We can do it with the method indexing. Okay, so we start off as having this field called wave score 1, wave 1 score populate being false, right here. And what that says is on the very first frame of our play state, if our wave is equal to 1, then we're giving us the highest egg score, inserting 3 values, because wave 1 has 3 vultures, 3 values of print score objects instantiated into our scores table at the appropriate score, and then we're setting that score populate to be equal to true. That way on the next frame, we are not overriding any of our scores table values. So that takes care of giving us 3 dummy value, well, mostly dummy value print score instantiations. But it doesn't quite solve our problem yet because we're not actually using, upon our, right here, upon our egg collision, upon our player 1 collides with a vulture egg, when we're cycling through all the vultures, we're saying, see, this is even trickier because we don't know which value to overwrite with our new last x and last y. No, yeah we do, whichever one's collided. Okay. See, so this is exactly, see how if we give ourselves a print score here, we're overriding that first value, which would be, or see, we don't want to hard code it like that. We need to say something different. we need to be able to say, hey, if you know, if this egg is collected, then we need to update our vulture's egg dot last x. We need to use that last x and put into the corresponding. See, this is what's tricky. We need to assign that value into the correct value of our scores table. But the scores table, we don't have shit. It would be the egg counter sort of deal. I feel like we need to change the egg counter shit. Because right now, egg counter was so that we would know if egg counter was 2, give us 500 score. If it's, or you know, that's the only reason we were using egg counter, right? Which now we have it baked into our table, so I don't think we need that anymore. Yeah, we don't need egg counter anymore. What I'm gonna do is just comment those out. I don't like deleting them because if I'm troubleshooting, I want to be able to toggle stuff back on and see if it unbreaks stuff. So this is incorrect. We need it here. Now we can also take off our egg counter because now we're doing it differently. Now we'd probably want to change this. We want it to be, actually, yeah, we probably want another variable, but just start it at 1 so that we can say, hey, if egg counter is at 1, meaning we're on the first egg, then at index 1, put in at field last x this value of our vulture.egg.last x. So our score instantiation inherits the last x of the said vulture's eggs last x and last y. So instead of, I want it just to make it different than what we just had, I'm just going to say egg count gets 1. We start off at egg count 1, and then upon collision we say what? We say self.scores table at index egg count, and not only that, but we need to go into the index of our egg count, which starts off at 1, and we need to assign it a last x. Let me check that our scores table, see, our scores table is populated with objects of type, holy shit, our scores table is populated with objects of type score, what the fuck do we call it? We just did it. Print score objects. So our scores table at index self.eggCount, which starts off at 1, that index is actually a value of an object of type print scores, which has a field called last x. It has a field of last x, And the thing is, we need to assign the vulture's eggs last X of, and this, remember, is not only a random vulture, it's the exact vulture that is colliding with the ostrich. So it's the vulture's eggs, it's the vulture's egg that is colliding with the player character, and we're taking that egg's last X, moving it into the last X of the index of our egg count of our scores table. And we need to do the same thing for the Y value. Okay, so when we did the for loop up here, we populated the highest egg score. We populated due to the interpreter. We had to populate all the arguments or parameters. We had to populate them all, but the only actual value that we needed was the highest egg score. So I'm hoping this line of code makes three object instantiations inside of our scores table, each of which index 1 will be 250, index 2 will be 500, index 3 will be 750, all with dummy values, and we're overwriting these dummy values upon actual colliding of the egg right here. We're overwriting that scores table at the right index, but we need to increment our egg count after this, because hey, we've got a scores table. No, we need to say our egg count gets current egg count plus 1, so that the next time we collide with a variable, an egg, we're modifying the next index. Yes, and the order of the eggs doesn't matter which vulture is killed first. It doesn't matter which egg is collected first. The collision determines the points. So, yeah. We need to also do this. Remember, this is the walking slow detection, which we have slightly different than the walking fast detection, because the original has some jank functionality like that I didn't really know how to do differently than this. But now, depending on how fast we're going, oh, and you know what? This is fucked up. So what happens if our player's DX is exactly 0.3? We wouldn't trigger an egg collected, because we're only triggering it if it's smaller than 3 or greater than 3. So one of these needs to be or equal to, so that if our DX is exactly 3, we actually do something. Because that was a hidden bug, a logical bug that we didn't account for. And then we need to cycle through all of our scores and render all the ones that aren't ran out of the timer, you know? So instead of saying this is rendering our final score, but we need to render our see, where are we rendering the 250? I think, oh, it's actually in, we're doing that in our score. We're saying if our timer is greater than 0, which can only be greater than 0. Okay, this is a little fucked up. We need to also assign that print scores timer to be 3, because now, yeah, I'm gonna say we start off as 0 so that we don't render right away. but we need to say our timer gets to be +3. Our timer needs to get +3 upon a detection, so that will actually render the score amount. Yeah. So here we also need to say our self.scores table at index self-egg count at field timer, which we do have, yes, needs to be equal to 3, which then gets decremented through the update function. But we need to update. We are not updating. Yeah, we need to update. Yeah, we need to not only update but render in our place state all of our scores table. So, and now we can use the pairs, the for loop for pairs, because they're actually instantiated now. So we need to update, maybe very last here, before we render. Oh yeah, see, exactly. We don't want to do this anymore, but we want to render all our scores, not our only score. So we're going to say for key value, whoops, for KV in pairs, self.scores table, which is a table. It'll do, if it's wave 1, it'll do something 3 times. Not then, but do. And then what we need to do is say, we need to update each object. So we need to say, self.scores table at index k gets updated with delta time. So we're updating each one, but we also need to render each one, which right here we're rendering the only score, but we actually need to render every score in our scores table with the render function. Okay, so now we get to run our code and see what we busted. Name at place state 51. It doesn't like this. I thought it wouldn't. Can we do a global here, or will you yell at us? Bad argument 1 to insert. Table expected. 52. Is scores table not a table? But initializing it as an empty table, scores table, assigning it, it says table expected, which it is a table, it's just an empty table. Let me check table.insert and make sure I'm using it correctly. Table.insert takes in a table. See, look, just like we'd have. And then this is a different for loop than I've seen, but it should be working. Table expected got nil. If we put in a dummy score here, does that fix it? No, it does not. There was like 1% of me that was like, this might work without having to change shit. Table expected got nil on 52. Bro, you're bad argument 1 to insert. Scores table. Scores table. Exactly like that. Like, I want to say, so like if we are explicit about this, say, hey, index 1, you're a print score object of junk values. Yeah. That way, when we get to what you're inserting, I don't like that. I don't like that. That should be busted. But I'm just trying to get it to not fuck up there. Now it says the heck, man, you are a table. You are a table. So like if we just say that this is a random ass 3, still bad argument. Table expected got nil. How are you nil, bro? We assign you. We initialize you. Self.scores table. Self.scores table. What am I missing? It's like we need to... It's like this is fucking us up or something. Let me look up a for loop again and see if I'm fucking something up. I don't know. Defaults to incrementing, so we don't need the 1. What's going on, man? I'm gonna lose my mind. In function insert. Table.insert, no? Am I using it wrong? Table.insert takes a table, which is this. Oh, we can't overwrite the whole table. We just need to insert it. Yeah. Okay. Let's see, man. Okay. Looks like nothing is broken just yet. Okay. And then... Okay. So, if this works, 2 things should have happened. Instead of every score being 250, it should be 250, then 500, then 750, and when we get more than one egg at once or in the same 3-second period, the scores don't overwrite each other. They both are on the same screen at the same time, and then they disappear in appropriate 3 seconds time apart. So I'll be really happy if either of those things are true. Dude, I just fucked it up. That's sick. That's sick. That's sick, boy. So now I think insert actually inserts it at the end, appending it. So we actually need lowest score, and the lowest score we need to get 250, and then we need to update our lowest score by a positive 250, and then we need to change our highest score to lowest score in our init, and now we might have ourselves a commit. Beautiful. Oopsie. Oh, give me a break, Nil. Hi. That's fucking hilarious. Nil, nil, nil. That's because there's another point where we're doing our egg score. Where are you? Here. Yep. Okay. Get dunked on, son. Goofy. I got dunked on. Well, die. Okay. So we're gonna hope that it goes 250, 500, 750 when we collect these, and I can have more than one score on at once. We got 250. We've got 500, yes. And we've got 750, fuck yeah. So the question is, are those values incrementing correctly on our score, on our actual score down there? And I don't think they are. So look, we get 500 for killing a bounder. We're not even incrementing our score with our egg count. So that's the last thing we need to do for this update. That's so sick though, fuck yeah. So now on our other waves, we need to give us a new lowest score. Say wave 2 starts off at 500, but we've decoupled it so it's no longer hard-coded to that 250. We still have the 250 increment here per egg, which I think is game accurate. I'll have to check the scores on the other waves, because I don't know if it goes, I don't know if you get 1,000 points for the 4th vulture on wave 2, but I'm willing to bet you probably do. At least for bounders. Oh, fuck. Because yeah, this also needs to be tied into, different, I feel like different level vultures have different scores. So we would need to come back and change this plus 250 to depend on whatever vulture we collided with, and how much their eggs are worth. But for now, we only have bounders, so we're just hard coding that in. So we need to find where we're doing our score, right? Where do we increment our score, boys? Oh yeah, we just took it out completely. We just need to increment our global score by the amount. Easy. So we already did the work for this. When we add the points, to our block, where is it? Here. Oh no, we need it upon the. Yeah, we don't want to do it here. Yeah, fuck, that's gonna screw us over if the Shadow Lord and stuff have different egg points, because then we would need to change. Oh god. Okay, we'll figure that out later. But I guess right here where it was, if we're, if we're colliding with the egg, we need to increment our score by score gets itself plus the scores table at index egg count. We need to do this before we increment our egg count. We say, hey, oops, oh shit. We need to say, hey, our global score is now its current score plus egg count index of our scores tables dot score amount? No. Dot, yeah, score amount. It would be, dot score amount, which we get populated incorrectly for wave 1 it's correct, but incorrectly with, we have to do it in respect to which egg we're collecting, but for now, our scores table at index egg count, that field's score amount gets added to our score upon the collision. And we need to also do it for our fast or our slower collision here before we increment our egg count. Play our score. So now we should get 500 points for every bounder we kill. 500. No. $201 in our play state. It's not a scores table, it's a self.scores table. Self.scores table at index egg count at field score amount. Okay. I hate that we're still scooting. I really hate that we're still scooting, man. When we appear. Okay. Cool. So we've got 1500 for the 3 bounders. This should be 250, so we should have 1750 at our score down there. Please say 201. You don't like it still. Our scores table at index something should have a score amount. It should have a score amount because the first thing we do is give it. Oh, wait. We don't populate a score amount. No, yeah, we do. We populate it with lowest egg score that we then increment by 250. So each of these values of our self scores table self.scores table, yeah. Why don't you like that? No value. Hold on. I knew it. $201 is trying to index a no value. In our play state? Yeah. If we comment this out and just say 200 or something random, does that fix our problem? No. 177 then gets fucked. So stupid. Oh. Duh. Okay. Well, that might not fix it. Let's see. Fucker. Okay. So look, if we just say 200, I think it's fucking up there. That's interesting. Oh, well, no, because I changed it. Okay, well, it works now. Yeah, we gave it... Yeah, okay. I'm stupid. So yeah, it's just, this scores... Is egg count getting set to be 1? On initialization? Yes. Fuck, man, we're so close. Why can't I do that? Why can't I say that the scores table at index... Oh. Whoopsie. We need self.egg count in there, which is what might be screwing us. I hate that we scoot like that. We'll fix that soon. Okay. So, we've got 1,000 points for 2-pounders, 250 points for the first egg. Now, if we get 1750 on our score, we're in business, man. Now, we're going to be having 750. So we should have 3,000 when we collect this, and it should be 750. Fuck yeah. Okay, so that's a huge update, but we need aerial egg collision with the yellow score above it if we catch it in the air. Which we're not doing yet. We'll probably do that maybe next episode because we're already close to figuring that out. Or like, you know, we just did score, so why don't we just finish our score stuff, you know? Change only score to a table of print score objects. We did that. Add multiple scores at once. We did that. Add point values to egg collisions. We did that. We need to do catching in air gets more points, and then we need to do render yellow bonus air points above white points. And then one thing I want to change is our player's X to be to the right a bit more. Just because I don't like how we can just press A and not hit a platform, so I'm going to test that in the original real quick. If we just hit A without moving, do we hit a platform? We do, so I'm going to change that. Our player 1, X, will get -5. Yeah. Cool. That's sick, dudes. Fuck yeah. Super happy with that. Okay. And then I'm going to take a note to test do Does fourth vulture egg in wave 4 have 1,000 points? What's the second one? Bounder, Shadow Lord, Bounder, Hunter? Are Hunter eggs and Shadow Lord eggs slash death worth more? Because Bounders are worth 500 for killing, plus an extra for the eggs. Okay. Sweet, man. Really glad we got that. Oh, we gotta add a freaking pterodactyl in, too. And the freaking hands that grab you, that's... fucking wild. Fucking wild. If we run a git diff, you can see we now... Yeah, let's take out all of our old egg counter stuff and our only score stuff. Delete that. But yeah, that was a pretty big commit, man. We've got lots of stuff we did. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna take out all these junk because we are able to do it without breaking everything, which I'm super happy about. We also need to take out the update. And the render. Okay. Sweet. So if we run a git diff again, we can see we initialize our timer to 0 instead of 3 because we don't want the timer to be counting down until we're not when we're initialized, but until we actually collide. So we set the timer upon the colliding, not upon the initialization, because we used to initialize upon collision, but that's no longer the case. We took out egg counter. We gave ourselves an egg count instead. It could be called the same thing. I just called it something different so that I didn't get mixed up with old code. We give ourselves a score table and a boolean and a lowest egg score. We populate our self scores table with point score instantiations depending on our, not only depending on our wave, or like depending on our wave sets the lowest egg score and the corresponding next egg scores. We learned that table.insert does not insert into index 1, it inserts at the end with an append. We swap this to true so that we're not overriding any of our table scores every frame. We took out all our old score logic. We have we now we give our scores table not a dummy value anymore. We give it the last X of our vulture's egg, and we set the timer to 3. We increment our egg count so that we can give ourselves the next highest score upon the next collision. We fixed a logical error in our walking collision. I still don't like that we have these in 2 different spots, but maybe we can figure out how to factor that out. And then we update all the scores and we render all the scores. I'm going to add everything to the staging area with a commit message saying added or refactored score code into tables. Into table. Cool. Not bad. Get Piet. Get push to our origin main. We'll call that a day. Next episode, probably aerial egg collisions and those points. And then we can do some research for hunter, or for bounder eggs and Shadowlord eggs, and how many points you get for collecting them. Cool beans, man. That was a good episode. Catch you tomorrow.